Yes, I have 4 phones.
I come to you, the American people, today to talk about these mittens.
It's not very impressive.
It's Bernie. He's funny because everything is free.
Yeah. Wait, you mean to tell me, Tony, you're not feeling the burn, baby?
Nah, like everybody else, if you mine it, there's some good ideas on all sides or whatever. Some of the stuff makes sense, but
Yeah.
I don't agree with making everything free because nothing in life is free. That's just me jaded. That's what life has taught me. That's what I understand how life works. Nothing is free. It is always going to cost someone something, and some people are cool with telling someone else to pay for it. Normally I'm like, get your hand out my pocket. I don't want to owe nobody nothing. And
It is true. You make a good point about, in the politics world, you could say you hate somebody and you could say you love somebody on the other side. But there are some things that I like about Bernie Sanders. There are some things I like. There's some things I liked about what Hillary was going to do. There were some things that Trump has done as president that I agree, that I was cool on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just still can't get over how, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, but how far you can be this way and that way and go, are you kidding me? That's the worst idea ever. That would drive this country back into the Stone Age. And the other side on that same topic is going, what are you talking about? It's the greatest thing ever. This is the only way to do it. This is how we save the country. And it's like, guys, you know how silly you sound and look? Like that, we're just so divided. It's just funny to me. Well, it's not, honestly, I'm going to stop saying that. It's actually not very funny. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. I think I'm going to start saying that. It's embarrassing. I'll say that.
I don't know that it's as big a deal as social media and people would want you to believe. There's some issues that are important for the whole nation. But again, from my seat living in Virginia and in my house, I feel like there's 50 states and you kind of do whatever you want in those states and you have your lifestyle that you want in that state.
Wasn't that the idea? Like each state is kind of runs itself and
to whatever extent,
to certain degrees, of course,
states' rights.
But you go to Oregon right now. It's very different than living in Virginia Beach. There's a whole different world out there.
That's kind of the thing, and there's challenges as far as like if you don't like the lifestyle in Virginia, you could go to Oregon.
Easy to say that, of course.
It's
up in your whole life.
It's incredibly difficult, especially if you don't have family. There's people that just aren't fortunate enough to, if they want to move to California. I don't have family in California. That's not really a real option for me to get up and go. Now I got family in Florida. Could probably reach out to some people and say, hey, let me stay there for a little bit to make the move easier.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. It's easier to move somewhere where you have family. Of course,
Yeah, no, that's
a
what
lot
I'm saying.
of people move away from family.
When people are like, well, if you don't like it in New York, then get out. It's like,
yeah,
if you don't have family in the next, you need a leapfrog type of system there to help you out. I mean, unless if you're very, very fortunate.
Yeah, well off, maybe.
A lot of times when we're talking about if you don't like it, leave. It's typically people that don't have the money to get up and do it themselves like that, Because if you're having the you don't like it, leave conversation, I think it's that. You're complaining about it, right? If you're not having that conversation, you just change it. You have the money to change it. I don't need to sit here and say how much I hate New York. I just get up and leave.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fortunate enough to do that. So if you're
that's interesting.
If you're one of those people that say I hate my situation or whatever, it's because you financially can't do anything about it.
Yeah, because you would have.
You just complain, right? Like that's your option is just to complain. Yeah. It's like complain or do something. Well, I can't do anything. Okay, then complain.
God, there was a great South Park episode about the whole if you don't like this country, you can get out. God, I don't watch the show very often, but the stuff that I have seen of South Park, I do know that they are a very, very talented team over there, and very smart guys. Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they're great, man. They're always. That's another show. It's like where you never run out of content because of the ridiculousness that's coming out every day in the news. They can just make fun of it all, and I love it, man. I gotta start watching that show again. Is that show still going on right now? South Park still a thing?
I don't know.
Is cable TV still a thing? Like, is that still happening? Is Comedy Central still around?
Comedy Central is.
Is it? Okay.
That absolutely is.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was, we have Verizon Fios, and we literally got it so that we can watch the Washington football team. But it's such a racket. I'm like scrolling through this just endless sea of programming and channels that I will absolutely never watch, ever. And it's crazy as a creator. I'm like looking at this from a creative standpoint, and I'm like, look at all of these people working. Look at all of these people making these shows. That how many people are watching this 7th string show on HGTV? You know what I mean? I'm like, man, there's just like hundreds of channels on Fios, and I'm just like, where are all these people?
Yeah, no,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
I watch the same couple things.
Yeah, me too.
When I watch TV, I'm watching the same few things on Netflix or Hulu.
Well, you're not watching television in its purest form. You're watching. You're streaming, baby.
Nah, but that's a whole different thing, dude. You got friends and people that's like their hobby. That's their thing. I get home and watch the news show, and that's still around. The whole weekly episodes, and then you know I'm watching this new series or whatever, and then next week's episode, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, the big one now is, you know, what are you watching on Netflix? What show are you not watching on Netflix? What have you binged lately? My wife is always on the next crusade to find the next great show. And you know what's crazy is Netflix is kind of killing it. Like a lot of their programming, their original Netflix original stuff, it ain't bad, dude. Some of it's quite good. I'm like, oh, y'all trying to do that HBO thing where everything that HBO puts out for the most part is quality, you know?
Yeah, content wise, they're doing their thing. I gotta check because
so
not too long ago, Netflix was in serious trouble, which is why they were raising their price. There was quite a few articles about their spending, about how they're spending like, yes, they're making so much money, but it costs so much to make these original series that they're raising the price, and even with price hikes, they still can't cover the amount of content they're making. So I haven't seen it recently, but that was like a year ago. They were like, Netflix is actually in trouble. They're like, they are the biggest like streaming service now, the most subscribers and stuff like that, but they're like, it costs way too much.
They gotta pivot. Well, how do you pivot though? You know, it's like attract more people, make more money. I guess
it's a tough thing though. I think they're kind of like in a there's like a vicious circle thing going on there, because to keep and bring on new subscribers, you have to have more content, and the content costs more than the. Yeah. It's like they talk about the cost of acquiring new customers. Like in just every business, there's like a way to quantify what is the cost to acquire a new customer, and Netflix is just like incredibly high.
Well, think about. They're doing a lot of Netflix original movies, right? There's a lot of films going to Netflix. It costs a shit ton of money to make a film. It's crazy. Well, depending on the film, of course. But the films that you're talking about that are going to generate some buzz, a Scorsese flick, a new, hey, Steven Spielberg's doing a Netflix thing. Those cost crazy amounts of money just in the film industry.
Yeah, like 40 million, 50 million, 100 million. Like,
right, yeah. No, you know, these Marvel movies have got, you know, upwards of $200 million budgets. It's like, yo, Netflix is trying to, you know, they're trying to be a movie house now, and that's expensive, dude. We talked about that the other day about movie theaters and how crazy it is these days, man.
And I think the challenge is that Netflix has so much stuff that's not theirs. You know what I mean? Like right now, I think Disney is poised to be able to take over Netflix eventually, because they own so much of this content. They're not paying licensing fees to other people.
Which is kind of crazy.
Like it's a whole platform where they own every single thing you're looking at. Where Netflix, it's probably the majority of stuff they're licensing from somebody else.
Well, I think they're trying to get ahead of it. That's why all this Netflix original stuff.
They're trying to turn it around, but again, they're stuck with how expensive is it to do that now at this point. Like, and you don't want to start charging people $30 a month. What are they up to now? They started at like $7. Like,
yeah, I think it's like 12. I think it's 12 now.
It'll be 20 soon. It'll be 20 a month soon.
Yeah,
and people will pay it.
No, they will.
It's still a good value.
It's
just I tell people, you know, you can cancel these on a month-to-month basis, right? Watch whatever show and then go switch it and get Hulu or whatever. Like I had all that stuff at once, and then
you were talking about that. You were like,
whittled it down to Netflix and Hulu.
Streaming services. Yeah, I was like, look at my bill.
That's all I need right now: Netflix and Hulu. I wasn't watching any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I had Crunchyroll, Funimation, I had HBO Go, I had Showtime.
It's so funny to see everybody just following each other in each other's footsteps, isn't it?
What do you mean?
You know, everybody's got a streaming service now. NBC Plus, ABC's got one. Everybody's doing it now, and it's almost like, okay, so now we're going away from TV, and now it's just wrapped in a different wrapper now.
I like that,
and
because
sometimes it's even more expensive.
Because one idea I had in terms of like the music genre, which just kind of parallels in terms of the money and creativity and stuff like that, one idea I had was when people complain about there's no money in music anymore and how, you know, iTunes and YouTube and Google Play, they're the gatekeepers now in the music industry. I'm like, how come somebody like a Drake or Lil Wayne or these people that own a record company, why haven't you just invested in an app and say, if you want to listen to Lil Wayne's music, you have to download the Young Money app and you stream it from there? Why haven't you done that? Why
do you think consumers want that? Like just flood the market with just a. I mean, I guess choice is always great.
I think if the artist is big enough and you do it on like a record label thing, you don't want to have each artist has their own app. But maybe everybody's under, like, why doesn't Universal Records, why doesn't Def Jam or whatever, like, have their own app instead of going to iTunes? I think that's the next best thing in terms of just stop complaining and funneling.
I would want to. What app do I got to download? I just want to listen to all the music, man. I just want to listen to all the music, whatever my heart desires.
I think if you got some of the biggest artists in the thing, and I don't listen to music as often as I used to. I think if a music fan wants to hear some of the biggest artists, then you just download. I mean, what is the app? Like, to download it? How many apps do we use already? I guess, you know, you don't want to be opening 30 different apps for every single time you want to hear, like,
yeah, but what do you do?
Hear the Drake song,
do I close it? App?
I think you do a free app.
So you're going to listen to ads?
You're not funneling it to, no, not necessarily.
They got to make their money somehow. That's why iTunes, the Apple Music is $10 a month. They got to make it somehow. They can't just release their music for free with no ads.
I guess a record label, if you do the math, and maybe you freaking subscribe for $2 a month or something. What is iTunes breaking you off, and how can you get a little bit more of that?
I'm just gonna speak from personal. I would hate that. I would hate having multiple music apps with different artists on different apps, and I'm paying for multiple different things. Nah, man, I want to get it in one stop. I don't want I want to go to. That's why people love the whole Walmart thing. I hate Walmart. You can get everything.
I hate one business running the entire market.
I agree.
They got to figure that out. This is what I'm thinking about. Like, and the creators have the power. I think creators forget that these platforms don't exist without you, and there needs to be some kind of organized movement to just create competition.
It's a hard thing to try to balance. Keeping the consumer happy and wanting to come back, and still winning on their side as well. It's like, with the video game thing. A lot of people complain about, we're PlayStation gamers. If you want to buy digital goods on the PlayStation, you have one spot to do it. It's the PlayStation Store. And in any other industry, it'd be like, whoa, what do you mean that's a complete monopoly? What are you talking about? But, honestly, as long as it's fair, you know what I mean? I don't really mind it.
Well, they do it on the phones. The same exact thing.
I don't really mind it, as long as it's fair.
Well, I think the laws haven't caught up. The laws have not addressed at all what the internet truly is today. The laws haven't caught up to the digital age at all.
No, they're not.
Because we have monopoly laws exactly for that, for really brick and mortar establishments and physical establishments. But there's nothing to look at. Exactly what you just mentioned is a monopoly.
It is.
It is, and in the sense that there's laws that actually break that up, to say, no, what do you mean this is the only place, literally the gatekeeper to this product?
Like, you can only buy digital games, video games, for PlayStation 5 or 4, or 3 for that matter back in the day, on the PlayStation Store. There are no other options to buy your stuff.
But this is why we've debated, like, the Fortnite thing. It's like, if you don't like it, then don't get a PlayStation. But you could follow that rabbit hole down forever and ever and ever, and just don't buy anything then. Yeah. Just be Amish and don't
right.
do, like, seriously, like, don't do nothing. There's a reason why technology has changed to the point where, like, for example, the internet is no longer a luxury, it's a utility. If you don't have the internet, you're at a serious disadvantage in life today.
It is such a good point,
You're at a serious disadvantage. Like, how are you applying for jobs?
A number of times now.
How are you going to apply for a job? How are you going to interview? If you didn't believe in the internet, then in 2021, how do you interview now? You're not even allowed to go into these places anymore. You're not allowed.
Dude, you have to have an email. Dude, and you know what? My sister is HR for a very reputable company, very huge company. And it's like, dude, you don't have a LinkedIn. Like, we're passing over you. Like, we're not even considering you. Like, she told me that. I was like, well, I don't know if it was that drastic, but I think she said something along the line. Katie, correct me. But she's like,
don't correct them, because this stuff you're not supposed to say out loud from an HR perspective.
Sure.
I get what
it's
you're saying.
Choice. But literally, like, it's kind of like there's a standard now, and internet absolutely is a utility, dude. It's a utility, bro.
And I've heard discussed before that they want to just make it a utility from a, like, federal level, government level, like, just it's a utility. It's just like water, light, internet.
Dude, you know we have some of the worst internet in the entire world. This is a fact. Like, our internet speeds and like the basic consumer internet is just it pales in comparison to many different places around the world.
I haven't researched it, but
now I could be wrong because I mean this was older. I've just known this. I know that our military had used a lot of the infrastructure. It was something. I have to look it up, but I had heard that many times that we have some of the worst internet in the world.
I also heard many times that we have some of the most open internet. Like you go to China and they can't even go to Google. Like there's a bunch of stuff they can't see. Period.
Oh yeah.
So that's part of it, and maybe we use it.
Oh yeah, here you go. Average connection speed. Here you go. Where the heck are we, dude? Jeez. Maybe we're down there.
Maybe it has to do with how many options we have too. We have a lot of garbage options.
We do.
We have some files and some respectable speeds.
This is funny. Who do you think what country do you think has the fastest average connection speed in megabits per second?
Africa.
South Korea. Then Norway, then Sweden, then Hong Kong, then Romania, Switzerland, Finland, Singapore, Japan, Denmark, and then sitting at number 11, good old US of A.
11's good.
11's not bad.
11's real good.
Is it though? We're the best, man. We're the best.
Not anymore.
We're the best. I thought we were great again. Make internet great again. Didn't we create the internet?
Al Gore did. He invented it.
For a moment there, I was like, is Tony being serious? I created the internet and I put it inside of a lockbox.
That's a joke we talk about every now and then. It was like, you're going to sit there and talk like that on Al Gore's internet?
Al Gore's internet, bro. Do you remember, all you young whippersnappers don't get it. Like the beginnings of the internet, like we saw that. We grew up with that. Like, I'm gonna throw out some words here. Ready? Alta Vista.
I only know that in joke form. I didn't get.
Alta Vista was a search engine.
Mm-hmm.
AltaVista.com. It had this beautiful little. Dude, I wonder if it's still around. It can't be around.
I know that from shows and stuff like that. I didn't experience that. I think I did like AOL is where I came in.
America Online was like the big one. And then the little brother to that, which we had, was CompuServe. Do you know CompuServe? Mm-hmm. CompuServe. Yeah, man, AOL.
I remember AOL 30-day trials.
Coming in the mail. The internet used to arrive by mail.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just wild, man.
It's wild that you used to connect to the internet and not be able to use the phone.
At all. You pick it up and like...
Well, now, if you called, you just get a busy tone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just wouldn't be able to get through the line. Like, it's wild that existed.
It's just crazy,
man. You came far very fast.
I remember in high school, I took a class where I had to make a website. Mm-hmm. Create a website. So I made a Kellum High School drumline website. I made a dope drumline website. It had like 5 pages on it, 5 different pages. I was very proud of that. But you know what? It was on a floppy disk. There's another one. Floppy disk. Alta Vista, floppy disk. AOL.
I remember like 512 megabytes was a lot.
Dude, that was mind-blowing, dude. Mind-blowing.
You got 512 megabytes. You got a gigabyte on your computer? Like that's
dude, how about
wild.
When the first iPod came out? We were taking CDs around, and our parents are going to go, we were taking cassettes around, and their parents were going around. I had a tape deck when they first came out.
I had cassettes.
I had cassettes too. I had a little stereo system up in my room that had a dual cassette. You know what's crazy? I used to mix my mother's cheerleading music from my room for the first couple of years that Renegade Cheerleading Association was around. I had the dual cassette deck, and I'd say, Mom, what do you think? And she's like, I like oldies. I want some oldies. So it was like, burn, baby, burn, I'm just going for it, you know. And then I'd be sitting there, and I'd have and it was a CD player too. So I would record from the CD onto the tape through the speakers. And I would literally like hold that, you know, that record button and let off of it at the right beat. And I'd go back and listen to it. Like, this is so silly now, but that's how I did it. I did a couple years like that for her, and it sounded great. I'm sure it didn't.
Does your son do anything technological that you see and you're like, help me with this? How do you do that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what he does. His online school stuff is all web-based, and the UI is atrocious, and it's so terrible. But he can navigate this UI and this whole Google Classroom thing and the Seesaw. Dude, he's unbelievable with it. And I'm like, show me your assignments. He's like, and he got a mouse now, and so he's pro now. He's pro level. He's got his own wireless mouse.
So I was gonna say, and So I was gonna say, back in the day when I was younger, you would hear that a lot. Like, oh, how do you do that on the computer? Help me with the computer. Help me with this. Help me with that.
No, I don't ask Victor for help.
I don't feel like my kid knows anything.
No.
Technology wise that I don't know already.
Of course not. That was for our parents though, for sure.
You used to hear that a lot, and I heard that in the workplace even as an adult now. I'd still hear people, how do you do this? I'm not good with computers.
There's a great, my mom will laugh when she hears this. I used to get so frustrated. I never told her that this just bugged me, but I'd be watching her on the computer and she'd go over to like a link, like a hyperlink, and double click it. Like that would just, and it was the slowest double click of all time, Mom. It was, and I was like, Mom, what are we doing? Dude, I broke my dad's computer because I was just like downloading games and there's viruses and all kinds. You know, it was like the Wild West, and to this day I still can't touch a computer in my parents' house because of that. I never learned how to do it.
That was a real thing back in the day. Mm-hmm. We knew how to use them more, but we didn't know how to fix them.
We didn't know how to do any of that.
No idea.
We didn't know the dangers or the vulnerabilities.
I think we learned pretty quick though, and a lot of us didn't care.
Yeah, no.
It was still like the reward was better than the risk. It's like,
here's one. Ready? Napster.
Napster's still around.
Napster's still around. There was a number of knockoffs. Where basically it was file sharing programs. LimeWire. You ever have LimeWire? Mm-hmm. There was one called Bear Share. Mm-hmm. Bear Share. What was some other ones? There was a whole slew of them.
The king of that is Pirate Bay.
Pirate Bay. Pirate Bay was nuts because you could whole movies.
Nah, you literally
games,
got
movies,
books, games,
like computer games. I was like,
pretty nefarious stuff on there too, like wild stuff.
Pirate Bay. I mean, these are movies that were still in theaters. I mean, this was like mid '90s, dude, late '90s.
That's still a thing. The bootlegging of movies.
That's a little crazy. I feel like that'll eventually go away.
I don't know. I think you got to get rid of the internet to do that. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, this is true. I
think it's easier today. It's even easier.
Funny?
The digital. These movies are digital now.
I mean, I was doing it. I was ripping songs and albums and movies and things like that. But you know, as I got older, I guess I didn't need to. I didn't need to.
Yeah, as far as movies, you're already fed with your streaming services already.
Yeah,
the movies are so few and far between
Dude,
now.
Talking about bootlegs, I was in the hell was I? Some Asian country, and I was in a market, and dude, I mean, you walk in and it was like a freaking Blockbuster, but it was all just pirated movies, and they all looked so legit, and it was crazy. I remember I got I paid. It was a Blu-ray version of Avatar, and it was Avatar, but it wasn't Avatar.
And I remember when
what
is it called? The Google platform that they have the. It'll come to me later. It's the skin or the software that you download on your Google devices where you got Nexus Player or whatever, and you see all the movies that are in theaters. I forgot what it is. A lot of you.
Oh, what's the one that everybody's using these now? Like a lot of people are doing it off the Fire Stick. What is that freaking app that everybody's doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I can't believe I don't remember.
I can't either, dude. I don't use it. That's probably why.
I helped so many people with those things because I'm like, here, give it to me. And I would install that stuff. It's like,
they call you up to do it,
and just go in and you would search any movie.
My brother-in-law that gave us a Fire Stick. He was like, "Now you can watch all the movies, dude, all of them."
I don't remember what it. I did.
What is it called?
I did it so many times, and it was like you'd have like a Netflix type interface, but
yes,
Deadpool that was in the theater. You were seeing like a clear copy of it.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Remember
that still exists.
Bootleg versions used to be people actually like videotaping with cassettes, like big VHS cassettes. You know, sitting there like this, and somebody would walk in front. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh!
I remember as a kid in New York seeing that the video. You put the cassette in it, and walk past people talking.
Dude, the audio sucked. Yeah, no. I'm like, this is not how I want to watch a movie, dude. When I lived in Hawaii, there was a time where I was by myself. You know, this is a long time ago. I was living alone, and I would my little tradition, I would go see one movie a week at the theater. I would go to the movie theater and I would go watch a movie. And I love the movie theater experience. A lot of people can't stand the movie theater experience.
Cody.
For good reasons.
It was called Cody.
Yeah.
That's what you download on your,
Thank you.
on your Fire Stick.
Cody.
And you went once a week to see movies.
Thank you. Yes. And yeah, Cody, thank you. That's exactly what it was. I get why a lot of people are like, dude, theaters are dead. Who cares? But man, I'm a cinema guy. I love the going to the theater and watching the trailers and eating the freaking overpriced popcorn. And most importantly, the reason why is because of the massive screen and the really, really loud speakers, man. I just love it, dude. There's just, watching a Jurassic Park in the theater. It's just unbelievable. And I don't think it's going to be around for much longer, and it's kind of sad. I'm like, yo, maybe I just go see a movie real quick before they're gone. Because we can go see movies right now. The Godzilla vs. Kong movie is coming out. Yeah, maybe I'll go see that.
Both of those Godzilla and Kong have always to me been like almost there.
Alien versus
They
Predator.
just never really nailed the mark like Godzilla or Kong. It's like it was good, but it's like it's not
what's funny? You ever look at a movie trailer poster, like a poster, an advertisement, you go, yeah, that's gonna suck.
I'm pretty good at that with video games.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that with movies.
With games, I could tell you like just looking at the gameplay if I'm gonna like it or not.
Yeah, like right away.
And I pretty much buy the games that I pretty much nailed. Like if I bought a game, I enjoy it. It's the days of buying something. It's like, oh, this is terrible.
Well, we have so much information now. Everybody's a reviewer on YouTube, so all you have to do on release date is just type it up.
Well, but the reviews aside, we have so much experience with it.
We do.
I know what kind of stuff I like. I've played a bajillion. Honestly, it's thousands. It's thousands. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the tens of thousands of games I've experienced in my lifetime. Like, it's like I know what something looks like. I know what something generally plays like. Nothing is 100% new. You see it and you're gonna that's gonna feel like this game.
Yeah,
I think kind of with movies in a way.
Yeah, I see a movie trailer and I go, it's almost like I haven't even seen the movie and I'm like, I feel like I probably just saw all the best parts of that movie, and then you see a trailer where you don't see much and you're like, ooh. Oh, they're confident.
Yeah,
they're confident. I feel like if your trailer is showing so much, you're I don't know. It's a desperate plea to get people in the seats.
Some trailers are unfortunate because they give away the whole thing. Some posters are unfortunate. They tell you the whole punchline,
which is wild. I saw a great YouTube video the other day dissecting the history of the movie trailer, and it was really, really cool to see how movie trailers used to actually just be that teaser stuff. Even when we were younger, they were teaser trailers.
You don't want to know the punchline from the beginning.
There was a great this movie is just panned by everybody. It's just awful. A lot of people did not like it, but the 1998 Godzilla film with Matthew Broderick, I remember being in the theaters around like a year or two before it released, and I saw that teaser trailer in the theater. I was going to see something, and it was so simple. It was just this dude fishing like on this foggy day in New York. Out on the pier. Remember this trailer? And just like his eyes get wide and like you don't see Godzilla, you just see like the tip of him like swimming past, and the whole pier went up like this, and it was just like summer 98, and I was just like, oh! Turns out that movie was garbage, but the trailer was cool.
I liked it as a kid.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah, no, that was. I actually bought that not too long ago.
I remember the Puff Daddy tune that was featured in a lot of the marketing material, dude. Yeah, man. And they took the riff from. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Come With Me is the name of that song. I liked it. The thing I miss about the movies, and I miss this in general about entertainment and creative content.
Led Zeppelin tune.
Yeah, no, I miss not knowing. I miss sitting in the theater and then I had no idea this movie was even being made. Like, wow, look at the trailer. Like, this is that movie. Like, It's been the last time that the internet messed that up. There's very few surprises, and I missed that.
I remember going to, and I'm sure it's still around, but one of the few ways to watch movie trailers in like high definition on the internet was Apple's movie trailer website. Remember that? Appletrailers.com or something like that. Yeah. And you saw all the movies that were in production. It was like, oh man. And that was like one of the few ways to see the newest movie trailers like in widescreen format and clean on the internet.
You remember Flash?
Flash. Talking about just Flash like Adobe Flash? Oh yeah.
It's over. Died.
Yeah, it's gone.
They officially buried it.
That was a wild screen to look at the other day on my computer. It was like, ladies and gentlemen, after 40 years, Flash player. It wasn't like that, but it was just kind of like nonchalant. They were like, all right, as of February 1st or something like that?
Because for a while it's been phased out.
Yeah.
And Flash, that format was kind of bloated in terms of like the power it took and stuff. It's like people are on HTML5. This is kind of nerdy stuff like that, but We want faster browsers, faster videos popping up.
Flash is just, it's antiquated.
Flash didn't necessarily offer that.
Yeah.
But Adobe's not too hurt by it. They got plenty of other products, dude. They pivoted their Photoshop stuff to a subscription service, which I think is
brilliant.
I haven't looked at their numbers, but I'm sure that
They're
that's
killing it. They got to be.
people. The funny thing with subscriptions is you sign up for them, and I think they want you to forget you have them.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
And that's the thing. Like, sign up on a yearly basis and just forget that because I only need it for like this month, and then I'll forget to cancel it or whatever.
And that's why a lot of those services, they offer those free trials, and then it is very difficult to cancel them. You can cancel at any time.
Well, you just forget.
Good luck finding it. But yeah, you're right. You forget. And then you're going, yeah, a little $5 here. They're never going to notice, dude. You got a couple of those going, a couple of million people.
A lot of times you don't.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's great to be at the point in life where you completely forget how much money's coming out of your account.
Very fortunate, man. We've worked hard for it. Yeah, man. Bernie, just not caring at all. Not a care in the world the other day. So funny, man. The internet is undefeated.
You can't be comfortable without people making fun of you. He looks comfortable. It was cold out. How am I supposed to dress?
Yeah, no.
How am I supposed
to?
to?
It's funny. I looked it up. There's a great article. It was talking about where he got the mittens. It was from this, nonprofit something, and same thing with the jacket too.
They're like sold out now. The mittens.
Yeah, and she was over there like, hey, if you guys like that too, she was like hawking it on Etsy. She was shooting her shot on the internet. I was like, hey, man.
He made a moment. He did a fashion statement.
He was like,
I'm not trying to help her sell any. I just thought they were very warm, very comfortable.
I just like how he doesn't even bother combing his hair anywhere.
No, he doesn't
goes.
care,
He just
dude.
gets up out of bed and
he's
however
an
he shows
old
up.
guy. I feel like that's what I'm going to be like when I'm his age. If I'm in my 80s, dude, I'm just like, take it or leave it, dude. Take it or leave it.
Bernie Sanders is not a communist.
Yeah, a lot of people think he is.
Not everybody's. Not everybody's a Nazi or
A
whatever.
Nazi,
like
communist, fascist.
He's always an extreme something.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, no. It's always high and to the right or high and to the left, baby.
Yeah, well, Bernie
ain't no
Sanders
middle.
is a communist. Okay.
Well, and Obama was a tyrant that was going to come take your guns, put you on trains, and send you down to Florida and gas you. That was a real quote.
Oh, there's a gun race again. Like, not a race, but it's wild. Like, guns are going out of stock. Ammo's going out of stock again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will say this about guns, guys. If they wanted to take away your guns,
They would have taken them.
we would not be selling record number of guns and ammo at this.
They're sold out. The supply, the demand is too high.
Now here's the thing, and you can feel I full transparency. I have a gun. I enjoy having them. I'm a responsible owner.
Us as well.
I've been trained and have been educated. But I'm not gonna be on the side of just I should be able to buy 400 guns and a howitzer and a jet if I can afford one.
Yo,
I'm not on that side, guys.
that's
I'm sorry.
So funny. I'm not either.
So they did pass the thing, at least in Virginia. I don't think this was nationwide, but in Virginia you could buy one gun a month now.
Damn, only one a month.
Guns are expensive too. It's like,
Who's buying a gun a month?
well, who's buying? But the thing is, you can only buy one a month. Who is buying more than one a month?
Dude,
That's the thing.
That's the question.
Who is buying 2 and 3 of these things?
Some people love them. I get it. Everybody has their thing, right?
I'm gonna tell you something. The cheapest reliable guns sit around the $500 range as far as like the reliable. You don't want a piece of junk. If you're buying a $200 gun, just learn how to fight.
Who's buying multiple
that thing's
guns
gonna jam
a
up
month?
on you.
Somebody's worried about legislation about limiting people to one a month.
I get.
No
okay,
offense to any gun
This
owners
is-
or
this is-
responsible gun owners.
it's coming off as
love to
ignorant and
collect.
insensitive to some people that are whatever.
Of course. Of course.
I'll give you this. Yes, you can't apply the saying if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile to every single thing.
Right.
You can't always do that.
It's not applicable, man, to everything. That's so funny, though, dude.
There was a lot of car accidents, and you know what the government did? They said we're gonna make laws to say you have to put on your seatbelt.
You gotta wear your seatbelt.
But this is America. If you give me an inch, because you can tell me what I'm doing in my car.
Yeah, we won't talk about this for too long, but the whole gun thing about making it harder to acquire guns legally and the the certification processes and getting everything registered. People they want to cry about that, but they'll go down to the DMV and sit at the DMV for 6 hours to register their car. They won't say none. They're not up in arms. They're not freaking flipping out about, you're going to make me get a safety inspection every year?
Well,
what?
As far as that, there is a good point, though. It's logical to understand that, when a person commits a crime, a lot of the research, and you look at it, shows that weapon they used was not theirs legally.
Of course.
A lot of times. So people that are law-abiding citizens say, you're just making my life harder because this idiot did something.
And I can get that argument too.
That's important. I think there's measures that should say, though, you should be responsible for your weapon wherever it is at all times. I get you have to go to work. Maybe before you go to work, you put that in the safe that only you know the combination to. That way your crazy 13-year-old that has whatever issues doesn't
listen
get it
to Marilyn Manson
and shoot up a school. You know, because it's always that. It's like, well, this guy got a hold of his dad's gun. Well, why was he able to do that?
You hear that a lot. Freaking throw the parents in jail too.
And as responsible gun owners, in gun owner conversations, responsibility and stuff like that is constantly talked about.
It's paramount.
It's huge. It's like put a lock on your gun when you're not around.
Yeah.
They sell gun locks. They sell all kinds of stuff. Like there's all this protocol
to keep your ammo
to how to be a responsible gun
too.
owner. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're just not around the weapon. Like just lock it up. Lock it up. Don't leave it to where your kid gets upset and he's trying to. It doesn't have to be something as horrifying as a school shooting. Maybe your kid gets upset and he wants to make a point. I'm going to flash my gun at my friend that made me mad. You don't want that happening either. It's like that thing you should be responsible for it no matter what. At the point that you bought it, whatever happens with it should be your responsibility. You might disagree with that like crazy, but it's like that's how you stop some of these mass shootings and these horrific things. It's like make it to where if you bought that and something happens with that, we're going to come after you. And that person too, but there's going to be some kind of penalty for you as well. Like, why did you let your gun get in the hands of that other person? Why?
I'm sitting. I can't stop thinking about people buying guns every month like that. Like how many do you got? How many do you need? Like I'm like, yo, one a month. Let's just say it's one a month. I guess for a couple years. Like, bro, you got a whole. You freaking arm the whole police department, dude. Like, I got 24 rifles. Like. I don't know. I don't know why this is so funny to me.
There's logical things on both sides.
For some reason, it's funny.
It's a polarizing thing because
I should be able to do that.
It depends on your experience, though. You know, I guess we could say if you ever got your house broken into, you'd feel different. You know,
I would need a couple of guns, maybe. I don't know if I would need 30.
Well, but a person that never had their house broken into wouldn't be qualified to tell you how many you need.
Sure.
Wouldn't be able to.
Sure.
Yes, it seems absurd to have 40 guns, 13 rifles, and all this ammunition. It does seem absurd. I agree. Just being, trying to be fair and balanced in this spin zone that we have here.
This is the spin zone, dude.
If you ever got, because here's the thing. I do know specifically of two people that have been sequestered is the word. Their house was broken into and people held guns to their head. That's a horrific experience, and that might change, your desire to have at least a gun in the house.
Oh yeah, no, I'm.
Do you need 40?
I'm talking one a month for 2 years.
I don't think I can't afford it, so I don't know what that is.
What's that?
Good on you guys to afford.
What's the movie? There's some action movie where there were this dude or lady. Can't remember. He had placed a number of guns in different situations so that he never had to reload.
That's cool too. Maybe that's why you're doing it.
Maybe that's why you do.
I might be watching TV and I gotta pull one out of the the sofa.
I got that boom right there, and then all I have to do is fall over the back of the couch and underneath the dining room table. It's like Dwight, dude. It's like Dwight from The Office. He's got weapons around the office everywhere. He's pulling them out of fish tanks and shit. So
I know.
funny,
like I said, I got them at home. I got 3. I don't know if I should be giving out that much information, but here it is.
Yeah, wow.
Who watches this podcast anyway? So
yeah, nobody's.
We'll find out if somebody wants it. But no, I say that to say that I got them. If you're a responsible person and you have them, I'm all for it. Get it. The infatuation with if I don't have one, this isn't America anymore. I don't know. Because here's the thing. The point that people are trying to make is at some point in time, we should all be able to overthrow the government. Is I think the point. We should be able to. We should have enough to overthrow the government should we decide to. That ain't gonna happen, guys.
Key and Peele had a great...
That made sense back when
right.
where the British were storming.
Yeah,
the British are coming.
right.
The British are coming.
Well,
but the British got tanks and airplanes now. Those days are over.
You have to look this up. I want to watch it after the show. Key and Peele did a great Second Amendment spoof where they're about to sign. Talking about back in the 1700s, they're about to sign the Second Amendment thing and add it, and this time traveler shows up. It's like Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, you can't do that. You can't sign that. You don't know the damage it's going to cause. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, what if I told you that in the future there's a gun that could kill by itself 20 people? And they're like. Like, it just was crazy. He's like, what kind of, preposterous fairy tale are you telling us? It's just, times are different.
It is incredible how...
A lot of people can't understand
that. To the point of that joke, though, it's incredible how the Constitution and all these documents were written and how applicable they still are today.
A lot of
this stuff. A lot of this stuff is like
a lot of them are.
We should change some of it. And here's the thing: people that say, "Oh no, you should defend the Constitution. The Constitution is the Constitution." There's a thing called amendments, so we understood.
Yeah.
And to my point, again, these people were so brilliant, and I say it's like you were inspired by God for real. Because how do you see the future to the point where you had all these things in place to understand way back then that we might not get it 100% right? So we need to put in place some things within the government where you can amend this Constitution, where you could change a little few. It's incredible to have that thought.
It is pretty
like
wild.
That's such a brilliant, like to have that mind. Like where are those minds today? Like I feel like they're so limited. Like just to have that foresight and to understand that period of going to the war and completely breaking off from your, like imagine that, like just today, like I'm moving to Africa and I'm gonna go to war with America because I've had enough of the way they do things. Like that's just wild.
Well, you can't do that today. You couldn't because
technology has stopped that. Technology is like,
too much.
Okay, you can do it all you want. We got missiles.
It's crazy to think about. Just not too long ago, you could just wake up one day and, like, say me, I have a wife and a kid, and I could just go to work and just never come back.
What do you mean never come back?
Like have a whole new life. I'm talking like not too long ago. That was happening. People with like the 50s, dude, where you couldn't be traced. Like you could just leave and have a whole new life. Like people could do that. It's crazy to think of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could go get on a plane and just leave and never come back. There was no way to find you. There was no way to trace you. Like it's crazy to think about that, man. Like you can't, like there are certain things you just can't do anymore. I'm not saying I wish I could do these things. They had it so good back then. Oh, they had it good. No, I'm joking, but it's just crazy to your point. Like you can't do certain things anymore. You can't start a new country. Like when was the last new country that was formed? I wonder.
No, I've said that before. I don't know if we mentioned on the podcast. It was just you and I talking offline.
They start new countries back then, dude.
But when people were saying
getting up and leaving,
it's time to secede from the United States or whatever, I'm like,
Texas has been wanting that for a long time, bro. Texas, shut up. Stop it. Go to your room, Texas.
If you want peace, prepare for war.
We talked about that recently. You're right.
I don't know if that was in front of the camera.
No, it was on the phone.
I'm like, then just get ready for war then.
Yeah, right. And I think I was arguing that
you were like,
it doesn't have to be war. They could secede without fighting. Like there wouldn't be a war. I think that was our argument. We were going back and forth about that.
And I'm like, there'll be blood in the streets.
If Texas wanted to, and that's what
I'm just using a frame of reference of the last time this happened. There was blood in the streets.
Well, again, that's we're going back on our point. That's a lot has changed since since the Civil War. Dude.
I guess I just don't maybe I'm overestimating. Maybe I'm not properly estimating the American government's arrogance.
Maybe
I feel like the offense would be so much to where they'd send the National Guard in and thou shalt not. And if you don't like this, we're removing you at the end of a rifle.
You think so? You think if Texas was like, all right, we have enough votes. We got everybody together. We're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna do it. This is the year. We're seceding from the union.
I don't think any president. I don't think any president would say we respect that.
No, you're not.
I don't think any government. I don't think any president in America would say we respect that. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas is no longer. We now have 49 states. Texas has decided that
it is a crazy.
It wouldn't happen. I think
situation.
I think first of all, the people would not allow it. The people on the grand scale of all 50 states.
Can you imagine?
I think if you follow that rabbit hole down, it's gonna be we're sending the National Guard in, we're getting that governor out of there, and that's it. You're done. You are.
Oh my gosh! It's almost to
isn't
the
that
point
called
where
treason? Isn't that punishable by death?
It's like I can't even imagine because nothing that crazy has happened in modern history.
And we're only bringing it up because when I hear people say stuff like that, I'm always like, well, let's follow that thread then.
Yeah, you love saying that. Well, let's take a little
follow that thread. Like
when
we say that, okay, let's just think about the how
are you gonna secede, Texas?
How, Sway? How?
You know, a lot of people think California is going to be on their own soon because they're just going to fall into the ocean.
I'd be fine with California. No, that's horrible. No, that part. No, I'm not fine with that at all. That's terrible. For it to fall in the ocean, that'd be horrible.
People, scientists have been saying that.
I thought you were going to say they'd be on their own in terms of just financially. They just want to be on their own.
I feel like that one, California is more realistic than Texas.
Yeah, we had talked about that
in
before.
terms of just like money and like, you know,
they made more money than
landmass
like I don't know how many states altogether.
Yeah, their
like,
economy is up there. And I know there's a couple of cities in Texas that have. I know Houston, for one, has a massive economy, growing economy.
A lot of money and a lot of homelessness still. It's very confusing. It's just not the utopia that
everybody thinks it may be.
Money doesn't solve everything.
Dude,
There's your point. If money solved everything, then everyone over there would be they'd be Cloud City like Star Wars.
Yeah, it'd be Bestman. Be Lando.
Why wouldn't that be California? Like every single person, this is like welcome to California.
It's Wakanda, baby.
Everyone that comes over, exactly. Like for real, it's
it'd
like
be Wakanda. That's the utopia.
If money was the solution to these things,
yeah, it's not.
See, in the Bible, they
people
teach
is
us.
the problem.
In the Bible, they
people.
teach us is not even people. Yes, this.
Yeah.
The heart.
The heart is the problem.
The heart. And
yes.
only God
the heart
understands
of men.
the heart. Who understands the heart? No one. The heart is deceiving. You think you know your heart.
Yes.
Your heart will betray you.
No, it will. It's crazy.
Deep thought here.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging around. If you've hung around this far, we'd like to offer anybody that types supercalifragilisticexpialidocious in the comments a $25 Amazon gift card. So get on it. We'll see who did it.
Matt will pay for it. Hey, speaking of Matt, Matt Dean, what's up, guy?
Oh, what's up, Matt Dean?
What's up, man? He's commented a few times.
What's going on? Matt Dean really wants us to do a live show.
You clearly watch it. I do appreciate that.
That's pretty awesome.
Jokes aside, I appreciate it.
That is pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm Matt.
I'm Tony.
And this has been the Tsunami Podcast. I appreciate you, buddy.
I appreciate you too, man.
We still recording?
Yeah, we are. No, I was looking at how long this episode is. It's like a 40-minute episode.
Wow. Fist bump.
10
Bye,
free
everybody.
minutes for you guys.
Yeah, there you go. It's on the house, baby.
Bernie, I'm here today with the Wu-Tang Clan.
We got
They love the Mittens. They're for the Mittens.
Raekwon the Chef.
That's right.
The Risen.
Yeah.
The Jizzin.
And Bernie, baby.